guys, we got first cast of the day, only cast of the day, postponed a little bit today, so coming at you at a bit of a different time, but not that big a deal. Just couldn't quite find anybody to join me earlier today, and I also couldn't find anybody to join me later today, and we once again got the thing in the background, so sorry about that. But you'd have to hear my voice times 2 for a couple of seconds. I guess it's not that big of a deal, because you're going to unfortunately be hearing a lot of my voice over the next couple of hours, if you, not even hours, but well, next hour or so, if you manage to stick around for the entire cast, and if you do, man, props to you. But this game, round of 8, we are moving on. We've covered the round of 16, we've covered the loser bracket round 1, and we are now once again in the winner's side, and we've got 8 teams that have managed to survive. Those teams are Rexars, Not Excellent, Teletubbies, Rating Before Dating, Shrek is Love, the Solaire Club, and these two guys in Catman Champions on the Legion team, and the new WAP Dash, aka ChatroulleteboyZ on the Hellborn side. So we'll see how this new lineup continues to work out for the guys on CZ. They've already had some success, of course, taking their first series, and that was played against Hussars. Yeah, I remember that series. Hussars basically got wrecked. It ended up being a troll game. So this, a little bit more serious. Time to Die was a former Twisted Fusion player, as was Archie Tiger for that matter, so some ex-Twisted Fusion guys going up against each other, not only in this game, but in the drafting role as well. Linko6, been around for a long time. Marcus Moy, been around for a long time as well. Zefrantel, carry player for Catman Champions. And Ramate, I want to say he's the Suicide. I believe Link's the support player. Marcus is a carry player in general, though, so I don't know what's going to happen. I know Time to Die typically played the Suicide role for Twisted Fusion. I don't actually remember what the specific roles were for Catman Champions. Sorry, guys. It's hard to keep track of all these players and all these teams a lot of the time. But anyway, draft is well underway here, and we've got a couple of initial bans onto Parasite and Bubbles. Hellborn going to take out Cthulhuphant and Swiftblade, so nothing hugely surprising on either side. Nobody choosing to ban the Ophelia, which is probably in Archie Tiger's favor. He does love that hero, of course, and probably would have first picked it if it wasn't stolen by the guys on Catman Champions. And here's a big problem. There's 2 people are tagged up as Catman Champions, and 3 people are tagged up as Don't Care. So just change your name to Don't Care if you want to be Don't Care. Anyway, so first pick Ophelia into Silhouette. Nice core going so far here. Got some push, got some gank, got some late game potential. Hellborn, meanwhile, have picked up what I still consider to be the best support hero in the meta right now, although she's really had a poor going of it in the last couple of cycles. She was at something like a 36% win rate in cycle 3, going 8 and 14, and she's down to 42% in just cycle 4. So Rhapsody's overall winning percentage 52% now, 51.9% I believe, and she doesn't look nearly as dominant as she did in the first couple of cycles when she was well over 65%. Well over 60%. I think she was pretty for 65%, and one of the winningest heroes in the game. But Hellborn actually started out with a couple of support options in both Rhapsody and Empath. I'm not a huge fan of that. It lets them know, okay, we're not going jungle unless we're going to farm the Rhapsody, which would be completely unheard of. But yeah, I mean that leaves Time to Die some more ban options. He doesn't have to ban that Tempest. He doesn't have to ban Keeper of the Forest. He can use those on heroes that are a little bit more suited to the Hellborn lineup, particularly the hard carry role. Especially you would expect Empath to fit that. Dry lane here, cores, no doubt, are going to be a focus for Time to Die on the Legion side in terms of the banning stage, as obviously both Rhapsody and Empath are very, very strong tri-lane heroes. So right off the bat, Archie Tiger's drafting, not a huge fan. Gauntlet will be their 3rd pick. I know Tree likes to run that hero in the tri-lane. I don't know about this new ChatroulleteboyZ team. We really haven't seen too much of them to figure out what's going on in that regard. But we could possibly see a Gauntlet as the focus of a tri-lane. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think Gauntlet's a particularly strong hero in particular. And, particularly in the same sentence. Anyway, I don't think he's a particularly strong hero, and I wouldn't therefore like to see him too much as the recipient of a tri-lane focus, because it seems like there are better heroes that could get it. But it does assume that they're going to be running a tri-lane, which is not guaranteed by any means. Rhapsody and Empath are obviously both very strong dual lane heroes as well. Both of them can babysit quite well and actually get pretty aggressive. So all sorts of options left open to the Hellborn side in terms of how they want to run their lineup. The problem is they do have, once again, eliminated the jungle opportunity. They have basically said we're going to go for a later game hard carry strat, and the Legion team can deal with that. You see the first ban from the Legion side is on Ravener, very, very popular and strong tri-lane hero, so no huge surprise that they choose to take that guy out of the pool because they don't want to let the Hellborn side go, yeah, we're going to get, you know, two strong heroes in Rhapsody and an Empath, and then a strong tri-laner in Ravener. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Dark Lady getting taken out here, maybe other hard carries. That would make a ton of sense because obviously Legion side not only already have theirs, but Hellborn likely are going for a hard carry route with the Empath. And yep, there goes the Dark Lady ban. What else? Soul Stealer on the board, that could work. Puppet Master, also very much a possibility. Either of those would fit the Legion, the Hellborn lineup, excuse me, very well. Even Corrupted Disciple, Gemini, those could be it. But I think Puppet Master is the appropriate ban here for the Legion team. Having this just CC in the tri-lane and his carry potential is very, very dangerous. So we'll see. But Hellborn side going to start off with Magmus and Jereziah in their second banning stage. And Magmus makes a ton of sense, of course, one of the strongest heroes in the game, and surprising he made it as far as he did, but that's going to limit the strength initiation options for this Legion side. And you think, you know, do they really need a mid hero? Well, they've got Kraken, but you know, obviously Kraken can be played in that suicide role, so they could choose to send him to the long lane and have Mag or Jerry mid. Magmus could, for his part, be in the suicide role as well, so neither of those would give away too much in terms of what the Legion side decides to do. But waiting on their third ban, it's going to be Wretched Hag, which is fine. I mean, it's a strong solo laner, and if they do decide to tri-lane, they will need another strong solo lane hero, so Hag not a bad ban at all, very powerful hero in general, so I don't really ever have an issue with teams banning out that guy, or girl, witch, whatever. I don't know what derogatory term you might want to use. But, yeah, second banning stage making plenty of sense for the Legion team. Hellborn, meanwhile, are waiting on their third ban. They've only got 4 seconds, so Architect are using a lot of extra time, and it will be the Torturer ban, which is pretty interesting to me. I mean, I guess they don't have a support yet, but Queen. Yeah, they don't have a support yet, so obviously they're looking for something. And at this point, though, Glacius, I don't see why you wouldn't rather have a Glacius over Torturer to me. Oh, shoot, sorry, escape. Damn it, board beater. Yes. For some reason, I always thought of Rhapsody as an agility hero. I really don't know why. She's right there in the intelligence, and I play her all the time, so it's not like, you know, I would know what the hell's going on. But anyway, board beater busting me about that on Skype a little bit, so might make you question, where the hell is he? Shouldn't he be casting this? Yeah, he should, but I don't know. Apparently, he just got home, so we'll give him a little time to settle in and maybe join for game 2. That was possibly the plan. We'll see if that actually works out. Anyway, first pick out of the second banning stage for Legion team is the Pharaoh. Hellborn going to counter with a Dr. Repulsor. So, as nice as Pharaoh might have been, Dr. Repulsor not going to care too much about his mummy walls. And I still like the Pharaoh. I mean, it's a good hero in general. Very, very annoying to deal with, and especially for the supports that could get caught out. Stopping the Rhapsody ultimate can be critical in these fights, and they have a lot of Rhapsody cancelers. Ophelia with the Skeleton King, Silhouette with the Tree Grapple and the Portal Key, and then of course Kraken with his Release the Kraken will be quite easily able to stop Rap from ulting, and they should be able to lock down this Doctor fairly well with their Sun Rotation if it is good. Master of Arms being their last pick, so that's going to be their support option. I'm not a fan. I mean, over Glacius, over Engineer, over, hey, even Nymphora, you're going to go with a Moa. It's not like the Hellborn have a substantial push lineup. In fact, they barely have any. They really have no push. It's just Rhapsody, which, you know, she can help push a little bit, but it's not a significant push hero. So, yeah. Anyway, Drunken Mask will be the last pick for the Hellborn side, so not giving away too much. They could still dual lane any of these 3 heroes. They could suicide the Drunken if they want to do that. They could tri-lane any of these 3 heroes, so I mean, for picking a first couple of supports. They've since been able to get, you know, a relatively non-obvious draft, at least in terms of the laning phase. I still don't like that strategy in general, so maybe try to stay away from it, but maybe decide time to die in the Pharaoh. So I assume he will be playing the Suicide role here for the new guys on Catman Champions. Ro8, obviously Marcus Moy playing that hero. Zefrantel apparently has moved into the mid role, and he will be going there. Link06 does play the Ophelia, I know that, and Ramateo apparently will be in the strong hard support role.
Well, it's a
Hellborn team, Archie Tiger, no surprise. He's going to end up in the second support, I assume, as the Forgotten One was the former hard support player. Shoot, wrong one. Sorry, there you go. Wrong tick box. Oh well. I actually remember to switch the overlay, and actually I switched it to the between game screen. But anyway. Bottom, looks like the Hellborn side is going to group up and try to get something out here. And we'll see what they can do. Looks like it's going to be a solo short Pharaoh. They're going to rotate an aggressive dual lane here. I guess they're just assuming that the tri-lane is what's going to happen. And you look at the Hellborn items, the Forgotten One sitting on pretty much entirely regen, and Empath sitting on a couple of Rev wards and some regen. So it wouldn't be surprising at all to see the aggro tri-lane come out from the Hellborn side. And if they do that, they're going to have to rotate relatively quickly because they really don't want to aggro try versus a solo Pharaoh. But looks like that's not going to be the case. No, it is, excuse me. I thought it was one of the supports that rotated top. But yes, it is going to be the case. Aggro tri-lane here with Empath, Rhapsody, and Drunken Master as the focus. And I wouldn't mind seeing perhaps Rhapsody rotate relatively quickly, probably to mid, and help the Gauntlet win that lane up against the Kraken. So in the beginning, Kraken actually should have a pretty nice time against the Gauntlet. Splash auto attacks doing more to harass out than Enfeeble will. But once Rhapsody joins that lane, and I assume it's going to be her, then that should be a better situation for the Hellborn. I could, of course, rotate the Rhapsody all the way to the top, try to counter this aggro dual lane, and if they do that, then it's going to prevent Doctor from falling behind too much, but we'll see if that's even necessary. Well, it looks like both supports might actually rotate, which that's not a bad idea either. And we can see Empath heading top and Rhapsody heading middle. As they quickly realized that the Legion had anticipated the tri-lane and have dodged, which is what you should do with the pseudo tri-lane that they're running, really. So Ophelia in the aggressive woods, we've got Master of Arms and Silhouette up in the top, and Dr. Repulsor could absolutely have some problems here if he doesn't get some help. Meantime, though, Ophelia's in the woods, and she's got a Minotaur, which is going to help a little bit. There goes the Cicados, and the wall actually not going to do too much. We'll see if the Minotaur Stomp goes through. Yeah, it does. And looks like Ophelia will be able to get out of here just fine. Empath wall's coming back up, but not enough time. And it looks like Ophelia will be chased out of the Hellborn woods and will be forced to go back to her own woods, which is pretty heavily blocked. I assume this Word of Sight blocks that camp? I don't actually... Oh no, sorry, it's a Legion Word of Sight. What am I even talking about? But yeah, anyway. A Word of Rev here blocking the hard camp, another Word of Rev blocking the medium camp, and a Word of Sight blocking the pole camp. So Ophelia's going to have the one hard camp to work with and the easy camp. Link06 not going to have a great time up in this in her own woods. Meantime, now we've got some help for Dr. Repulsor as Empath has rotated, and Rhapsody, it looks like, is going to be here as well, running the aggro tri-lane. I'm just going to pull the pole camp. And once again, if you manage to hit this camp at 51 seconds, you have enough time to walk over and also hit this camp. So you can actually double stack these two camps. Similar thing can be done with this medium camp and this small camp. You can do it elsewhere with chopping trees down. If you chop these trees, especially Legionnaire loves to have that. Anyway, middle lane. Gauntlet will be able to hook over the ledge. Pretty critical there, as he did get stunned. I'm not sure how he found himself up there, but looks like Drogon won't be in too much trouble and will end up surviving. Master of Arms going to rotate to the middle lane, leaving Silhouette up top solo against the tri-lane. And I assume at some point Scylla's going to rotate to the bottom lane, and it will be a Suicide Pharaoh. So lots of rotation to come out here, I think, from both sides. We saw the Legion, or the Hellborn, excuse me, already make some transitions as they move their two supports up to the top, and I wouldn't be surprised if subsequently the Legion team react, because they really don't want to let Silhouette sit up here by herself. I mean, Silhouette, I guess, could be a mildly interesting suicide hero in a 1v1 situation, but in a 2v1 or anything more, I guess with a boxing support, it might not even be that bad. She has the true grapple for Getaway, but the difficulty, of course, is her lane harass is not the same thing as her Getaway, which means that if she gets the relentless solo, she has no Getaway. If she gets the tree grapple, she doesn't have too much in terms of lane harass. So, Silhouette not choosing to rotate quite yet, and if she doesn't, then she's going to pay for that most definitely. And Pat did pull this, so we'll be able to get some CS and some experience off of this, as well as lane control in her favor. So we're going to go by a health pot, and we'll eat her last tree as well. Looks like she'll be running all the way to the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Pharaoh is 283 gold per minute in this bottom lane, and Leroy actually doing even better at 335 GPM. So Drunken Master definitely taking charge of bot, and no particularly huge surprise there. He does have some pretty great laning presence, and Pharaoh can have some issues in the lane. In fact, going to get harassed pretty heavily, but there go the mummy walls, and the tower going to do a lot of damage there. Hellfire, of course, helping out a lot, so nice response there from Time to Die, who definitely knows how to play Pharaoh. So if you've seen this guy before, particularly on the Twisted Fusion and on the Twisted Fusion games, obviously those are all over my channel. From last few cycles, he's played some pretty impressive Suicide Pharaoh, so I would recommend checking that out if you're interested in watching somebody wreck face on Suicide Pharaoh, because he definitely does that. Anyway, transition down here, nice disjoint to the Master Arm stun. The other problem with Master is his stun has a long travel time, and there are many, many abilities which can disjoint it, especially in this game. You have Drunken Master and Dr. Repulsor, both of whom can easily disjoint that stun. So, you look at the Legion team and you think, they've got plenty of stuns. Actually, Drunken going to be in some trouble here. Stagger's on this way, and I'm not really sure where he's going to go. Fork Lightning is going to slow him down a little bit. Last auto attack, not enough. Leroy just barely able to survive. Going to need to kill himself to neutrals because we got the rotation from Ophelia coming over. And if she manages to cut him off, that's going to be, yep, there it is. So Link 06 picking up the Bloodlust there. And that's going to help him out a lot, actually. 270 gold per minute now after that. Really wasn't doing very well beforehand. Hellborn side, in the meantime, going to rotate their two supports to the bottom lane, so going to reform the aggressive tri-lane now that they have the situation that they were looking for, which is the one that is ideally going to allow them to shut down the Silhouette. And still, so far, and only 164 GPM, so she's really having a suffer time here. Also only level 4, not doing very well in experience per minute either. It is the 4th highest experience per minute on her own team. And just above the Rhapsody, the Empath, and the Master of Arms, aka all the support heroes. So, Marcus Moy, definitely a very good Silhouette player. We've heard that from Mini Maggot before. And in this game, he's going to need to bring it because he's definitely not having a great time so far. Link 06 in the woods with a creep. Meanwhile, over here, Master Rum's going to take a bunch of damage. We're all going to go down and stop him from doing a whole bunch. Essence Link Sun is taken as well. We'll put the Fork Lightning out, but that's not going to be enough, and they do manage to get the kill. Looks like they want to dive onto this Ophelia as well. She's taking a crap ton of damage, but looks like Drunken Master will be able to get out of there, and so will Oath. Ends up being just the one kill, and a pretty hefty dive from the Hellborn side as well. We'll force them to use some mana pots and health potions. Kraken can rotate over into the bot lane, and looks like that's going to be it. Alright, sorry about that. I had to mute myself for a second to talk to somebody. Anyway, no action happening, so not that big a deal. Legion side in general, not farming all that well. Take a look at the GPM charts right now. Nobody above 300 gold per minute. Which way, 3 heroes above 300 GPM on the Hellborn side. And Rhapsody going to get jumped a little bit. Wrath of Fire will help finish her off, but the Mummy Wall is actually not doing a lot. And looks like we'll be able to get a counter kill onto Silhouette. Yes! But Leroy going to die for that as well. Now Empath going to be in a lot of trouble. It looks like Hellfire going to catch up to her It's going to wear off here in just a moment, though. And actually looks like Empath will be okay. Essence Link goes down, and Pharaoh could be in some trouble as well. The ports coming in are stopping a lot of tower damage. We'll trying to tank that as well. And Rhapsody will just finish that off with Sagato's one port canceled. So, I don't know who that was, but I would have guessed it was Doctor. Yeah, because his TP's on cooldown. Speaking of Doctor, in this top lane, nearly 400 gold per minute, so the rotation helped him out quite a lot. Now Marcus Moy's like, yeah, I don't want to be bot anymore. And instead getting him back to top lane, but I don't think that's going to be the greatest situation for him, because Doctor's level 8. Of course, he's got his ultimate. Marcus Moy just hitting 6, and therefore has his ultimate, but this level disadvantage, he's also got a pretty significant gold disadvantage. Doctor, the highest farmer in the game, and so what, the 4th highest farmer on her own team. So, right off the bat here, guys on Catman Champions, not looking particularly great. And over here, jump, we're going to be right there off the bat onto Syl. We'll see if they can actually get anything out of this. Dr. Pulsar doing a lot of damage to everybody, and actually, they will kill Marcus Moy. And Doctor, is he going to fall? Creep archers? Yes, Wrath of Pharaoh will finish him off. And Empath actually could be in some trouble as well. He's going to put the Essence Link onto the Silhouette Illusion. And it looks like that'll be enough to stop the aggression there. Zephyrantle on the Kraken managed to port in as well. It wasn't actually needed, but we do get the counter kill onto Doctor. Ends up being 1-for-1. I would say that favors the Legion team, but actually in the bottom lane, going to be a pretty easy kill here onto Master of Arms, who is completely by himself for some reason. I'm not sure why a solo support Master is in the bottom lane without anybody else, but Marcus Moy going to port back bot. Apparently not really sure where he wants to be, and you can understand why. It doesn't seem like there's a particularly safe lane for him to farm in. It's either the tri lane or the top lane where the Doctor is going to kill him. But anyway, in the bottom lane, Gauntlet was there, and just waiting for it. And we'll kill Syl once again. So Marcus Moy suffering pretty hard this game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him have basically no impact. I mean, Silhouette will recover fairly well, especially when she gets her Nullstone, but it's going to take her a while to get ramped up, even to get to that point. And she's just not going to be a hero that's ready to fight until 40 to 45 minutes, I would imagine. At this start, it's just like she doesn't even have Steam Boots yet. You look at the Hellborn side, Steam Boots on Doctor and Gauntlet, and we've got 1900 gold on Drunken Master, so he doesn't have Steam Boots, but yeah, he can buy them. And curious to see what he goes for, actually. He's got a lot saved up. Alk Bones? You never know. Nope, he's going to finish the Steam Boots off, so yeah, 3 pairs of Steam Boots on the Hellborn team. Legion side have them on just the Pharaoh. Oh, sorry, Pharaoh and Kraken. But Silhouette, not the greatest time ever. And off to the side here, they will counter the ward. So Kraken looking for a gank once again. He did pretty well in the middle lane. Didn't do great. Drogon really still did beat him. Currently see Drogon at 360 GPM and Kraken at just 280. But Kraken's been roaming a lot, trying to set up kills, trying to help his team out a little bit. And you can understand why. They are down only by 1 hero kill, but they're down by 3.5k gold and experience, which at this point in the game is actually a pretty significant lead. So Kraken looking to slow down some of these Hellborn heroes, 3 of which are over 350 gold per minute. Nobody in the Legion side over 300 GPM, so they do need to be slowed down. And Kraken, I don't think I've seen him use his ultimate yet, so he wants to get a kill. It's just not happening. And this new ChatroulleteboyZ team definitely looking like they are communicating well. They've got a game plan. Archie Tiger knows what he's doing. And bottom lane Drunken Master will be okay, but as we move into the mid game, look, the warding situation. Bottom lane, there is a ward of sight here, presumably just to protect Silhouette, as they have decided to focus her. Like, we need to get some farm on the Syl. Wrath of Pharaoh actually going to catch Drunken Master, and he's going to be completely screwed. Will try to get away, actually pops the power supply as well, but the slow from Ophelia, a couple more autos from Silhouette will finish him off. Destroying actually on the last auto attack. Is he going to live? No. I cannot imagine. No, yeah, Kraken's coming in to cut him off. And he's going to have to TP on out, but he doesn't have a TP.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion
He's going to be pushed through the trees. That actually kind of helped him. And we'll see if he can do anything with this, but no, here comes Silhouette. Once again, we'll finish him off with the Death Lotus. So that's actually not bad. I mean, that took 5 heroes, 30 to 45 seconds right there, to try to kill him. Which means that entire time, top lane was being pushed, and the top tower died. Dr. Pulsar had a complete free farm. Middle lane, we had Gauntlet and Rhapsody doing whatever the hell they wanted. And Empath was around stacking the woods, which are now pretty well stacked. We have a triple stacked easy camp, double stacked medium camp, and presumably she will be going to triple stack this camp here as well. In a couple of seconds. Rhapsody, can you make it to stack it? Yeah, you can. I'm not sure what the wall is for there. That camp was already triple stacked. Yeah. Werebeast, Vagabond Assassin, and Snotter. It's definitely a triple stacked camp. Ah, well. Mid lane, we do have some group up here, and it's both Empath and Rhapsody are hanging around. Rhapsody not quite level 6 yet, and would imagine that she's interested in hanging in a lane until she does hit that, because obviously level 6 for Rhapsody and Empath for that matter. Very, very important. Gauntlet finishing up a portal key here, 13.5 minutes, so his farm's quite good, and that'll be extremely useful, especially for picking up this Legion side, which is not very tanky quite yet. We do have Mystic Vestments on the Pharaoh and 1100 health there. Kraken obviously just generally pretty tanky. Steam Boots on top of nearly 1200 health. And the creeps are in the background. They're looking for something, and we'll see if they can actually do anything about this. Drunken Master going to put a bunch of damage into Silhouette, but she's going to be locked down, or he's going to be locked down, excuse me, and the Lurus Blessing going to help save him while Leroy falls. So nice gank there from Link once again, saving his buddy, and a couple of ultimates are necessary. Meanwhile, top lane, we do actually manage to pick off the Pharaoh, and we can rewind because it's just me. And it looks like Pharaoh basically just realizing mummy walls are extremely ineffective against a Dr. Repulsor.
Know your place, peasant.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about during the drafting phase, is Pharaoh mummy walls, just Doctor doesn't care. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to jump out. Sometimes it can be mildly annoying, especially if it puts you just on the edge of it and then drains your mana, but in general, not a real big problem. Kraken has rotated back to the middle lane. He's been here pretty much most of the time, and except for, obviously the ganks he repeatedly tried to set up and was generally unsuccessful at. Bottom lane, Empath getting some good farm here, and Leroy actually going to come in and pick up some of that as well. So with the 2 deaths, Leroy has fallen down a little bit. He was over 350 gold per minute, and now he's just at 285. So they've done a pretty good job of shutting him down. Meantime, Kraken is farming okay. The problem is, you look at the rest of this Legion team, and nobody's got anything. 250 gold per minute on Ophelia, I've got 240 on the Pharaoh, and just 220 on Silhouette. So even though they've been focusing her and getting her a couple of kills, trying to make sure that she is okay. Actually, bottom lane, Swiftblade Silhouette will miss the stun. We'll have to split up here, and it looks like she might be okay. Meanwhile, Drunken Master is going to get out of there. Will be just fine. Has Rhapsody and Empath to back him up there. Here's Gauntlet with the Gauntlet Blast right on top of the Ophelia, but there goes Pharaoh with the counter out to the Pharaoh, and they will get the immediate kill onto Rhapsody, really unable to do anything, and now Gauntlet with this new portal key, not going to be able to accomplish anything either. So 2 really good response kills there from the Legion side, as they brought 5 to a 4, and not having Dr. Repulsor meant that the Hellborn were at a disadvantage, and judicious and liberal use of the ultimates from the Legion team, which are quite powerful in team fights, meant that they took that, and they're going to turn that into a pretty serious push here. Wouldn't be surprised to get a tier 2 tower on top of that tier 1 and those 2 hero kills. These towers are falling very quickly. Of course, Ophelia helping out a lot with that. And speaking of which, 16 minutes in, having Ophelia start to take towers now, not the greatest.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn
better than not taking towers at all, so I guess that's not that big a deal. Middle lane, meanwhile, Fair going to try to back this push off a little bit. Won't be successful. There goes the Glyph, actually. And it looks like Drunken Master's going to have to get out of here. And the Deny is going to be successful. Now, so Drunken's in, man. He is feeling really, really froggy, but Pingu's going to pay for that, so looks like he will die, and the last attack from Rhapsody will finish off Marcus Moy on the Silhouette. Looks like Kraken to try to chase down the Empath here. Will get a whole bunch of damage done. Nice wrap ult, saving all sorts of stuff. And Empath now continuing to run away. Should be just fine here as she backs off to the side. Gauntlet Blast onto Kraken and the Infernal's ability to finish him off. Rhapsody will be able to take the Mana Pot and get the Invis Rune. Wrath of Pharaoh not going to connect them to anything. And Dr. Repulsor really low on health and mana. Not the greatest situation there. Infernal instability. Getting canceled by the Pharaoh Hellfire. And now over here it looks like Rhapsody will be able to finish off the Master Arms. No, Astrolabe going to heal him up. And there goes Gauntlet. So Hellborn side trying to go for the greedy plays, and it's getting backfired. The Astrolabe doing major work. Otherwise, that would have been a death on Master of Arms, but still, a favorable trade for the Legion side, as they lose pretty much only the Silhouette and the Kraken. They managed to take Drunken Master and Gauntlet. So, yeah, maybe not a favorable trade, actually. Both supports did live. So, ended up being a 2-for-2 hero kill trade, but Legion side lost their carry and their mid, and Hellborn lost their mid and I guess their suicide, you'd consider. Meanwhile, Doctor wasn't even in a lot of that fight. So, 2 ports coming here, middle. And Lex Teleonis is on somebody. Anyway, port back on Pharaoh. Lex Teleonis on Empath, I assume, yes. Gonna be a pretty easy kill on Linko 6 on that Ophelia, so Pharaoh gets ported back by his buddy, and then his buddy dies for it because Ophelia, what a good boy. Anyway, Arcana can be picked up here by Pharaoh, presumably building into a Hellflower, and you can imagine why. It's because they have a Dr. Pulse from the other team who is choosing to go for a Grimoire and not a Nullstone. Is it the best choice? Not entirely sure. Feel like somebody else could have gotten that, particularly Kraken after he's got his portal key, and I'd really like to see a puzzle box. I mean, they've got Ophelia, so they got the Astrolabe, they're doing a sorcery. Having a puzzle box to add that push would be pretty crazy. Presumably Oaf will get an Abyssal Skull at some point as well. Or maybe Pharaoh will get it, but I mean, it's not that the Hellfire pickup is bad on Pharaoh. It definitely isn't, and it's a very nice counter to Doctor, especially for the hero that's likely to be initiating onto him. But I feel like the puzzle box is going to have more general utility, and it does still have a mana burn, so if you can get it off in time, then you might be able to accomplish the same objective and more as the Hellfire would. Hellflower. See, Hellflower and Hellfire. That's going to be a problem, because Pharaoh is going to have both of those, but so, finishing up her Sustainer, and we are 19 minutes in. You'd expect her to have had her Nullstone maybe a few minutes ago, and instead she's just finishing her Sustainer. Perhaps he actually will get caught up by the Wrath of Pharaoh here. We'll need to put a Dance Floor down. Staccatos go there as well, and we're not going to get finished up by the Hellfire. And Yours Busting not going to be enough to save Pharaoh. Looks like Kraken Charge going to be forward onto Drunken Master. Sorry, it's Dr. Pulsar. I thought it was Drunken Master for some reason. Anyway, Doctor will be able to get the hell on out of there. There's Drunken Master popping the Energizer, and Marcus Moy is in. Nope, he's going to port back out to his illusion, so he will be just fine. DD Rune is up also onto the Doctor, so no surprise that the Legion didn't want to fight that against a double damaged Doctor with an Empath inside. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. So, 20 minutes in here, still about 3.5k gold, 4.5k experience lead for the Hellborn side, which means that relative to where we were 10 minutes ago or so, the lead has not expanded in terms of absolute resources, which means the Legion side are catching up, of course. Compare, a 3k gold lead at 5 minutes compared to a 3k gold lead at 50 minutes. That's obviously two very, very different things. And so, definitely Legion getting themselves back into this game. They are up 11-10 in hero kills, and they have 3 300+ GPM farmers now. Bottom lane, meanwhile, looks like Drunken Master will be in a lot of trouble, as he's probably Energizer trying to get away, but he gets locked down way too effectively by Ophelia and those minions. And Leroy, once again, aka Imbapingu, dying a lot this game. He's got 4 kills, but also 6 deaths. That is the most in the game by 2. And not really what you want. Suicide Hero isn't supposed to take that name so literally, and he wasn't even really a true suicide hero considering the rotation from sports. Rocket in the middle, be just fine. Alright, we'll also spot out Empath here. Wrath of the Pharaoh is not available though, so no real ability to follow that up. Bottom lane, Gauntlet just going at it with Silhouette, and needs to be careful about this because Sil can port into that illusion. He will realize that pretty quickly. And Pernal's ability will destroy the Illu, and he will be just fine to farm this lane. Drunken Master also showing up looking to get something for himself, so meanwhile Doctor gets another ultimate orb, so not sure what he's going for. I'm going to assume it's the Sheepstick, but it's curious that he would buy the ulti orb as the first item. Meanwhile, we've got the Silhouette, who is getting closer and closer to her ultimate orb as a part of her Nullstone, so about 300 gold off that. And Doctor's just going to wreck Master. Wow. Now, word of sight in that hill. Just destroys the Master Arms, just trying to just farm a small camp. He just wants to farm a small camp. Of course, it does mean Doctor's using a lot of his mana. Meantime, Gauntlet getting a push book actually out of the Mummy Walls, so we do have a push book on the Gauntlet. That's going to be huge. Anyway, Kraken getting absolutely wrecked there, and nice Rhapsody ultimate there. Will stop a lot of damage on Gauntlet, but still will be in some trouble. Will pop a regen rune, actually immediately gets taken off. Meanwhile, Fair going to die also, so things not looking great for Legion side in this engagement. They jumped the Gauntlet, ended up losing both the heroes that jumped, and the push book there will cancel the Ophelia Fort. Ends up being a 4 for nothing, 3 for nothing, depending on how you look at that Master of Arms skill. And so all that work the Legion side did to get themselves back into the game after a pretty poor laning phase immediately goes away. And War Cycle encountered here as well that was just placed. And I'll turn this into a Kongor kill, so there's nothing the Legion side can really do to counter this Kongor, and presumably it's hoping to be put up onto the Doctor Repulsor, although it could be either Drunken or Gauntlet. Both of them have shown a bit of a tendency to suicide themselves. And it's a Nullstone, actually, Doctor, so
Kongor has been
presumably
slain.
seeing the Hellflower coming out from Pharaoh and figuring I'll just get a Grimoire into Nullstone as opposed to a Nullstone as a farming item, which is fine. And, I mean, Nullstone is a good farming item, but of course, it's just also a general utility item as well, so. And looks like Legion side will finish off their Ancients as well. Rap's gonna go block them. Nope, just gonna put a Ward Sight up there. Tree Grapple not gonna connect on the tree, so Rap will be just fine. Obviously, no portal key on Silhouette, and not particularly close to one. Still, you know, about 1,000 gold away, maybe a little bit more. Anyway, jump here in the middle lane onto the Drunken Master. Go ahead and pop the Untouchable, actually. And the Wrath of the Pharaoh only going to hit the creep, so that was definitely a series of misplays. And top lane Dr. Repulsor taking a whole bunch of damage, but it's just a Silhouette illusion, so Hellborn managing to expand their lead a little bit, of course, with that series of kills, and then the Kongor now token on Dr. Repulsor, and wouldn't be surprised if we see them look to use that to turn it into a bot tier 1 tower kill, which is still above half health, so he is presumably looking for something like that. Anyway, Silhouette can get jumps, just takes the Nullstone off though. Gauntlet did not use the Gauntlet Blast, instead he used the push book for that objective. Mid lane Pingu is pushing the middle tower, and we'll see if he actually goes and tries to get anything out of this. I would be kind of surprised if he did. Bot though, looks like Gauntlet will be in a lot of trouble. He's getting stunned out and CC'd to death. Tries to get away with the pushback, but is not successful. So Drogon in some trouble. Top lane looks like Doc's actually doing a lot of damage to this tier 3 tower. And if Kraken's not going to do anything, this might have been a mistake. Now we'll see the Wrath of Pharaoh coming in along with the Newest Blessing, but Doctor's going to be able to jump the hell on out of there. And it looks like he will be fine. Leroy managing to pop the Untouchable and run away himself. Off to the side, Rhapsody just basically looking to provide some support, as she is a support hero. And Hellborn will get away with that. So they're getting aggressive. They lose Gauntlet, but they do get a bunch of damage on the mid tier 2 and a bunch of damage on the top tier 3. Not the worst trade in the world by any means, especially if they turn that into some evolved creeps later on. And Pharaoh going to be moments away from finishing his Hellflower. He does have the third Esteem Staff even. And presumably just looking for the, was it Ro8 with a Magi? And, oh, off the side, Ophelia, dead. And her creeps, dead. So, not great. Less than great. It is called Ro8 with a Magi, right? Apprentice's Ro8 with a Magi, I guess, is the Dota equivalent. Anyway, needs that, as well as the Scarab. And we'll be able to finish the Hellflower off.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
Anyway, middle lane, looks like we're going to catch on Leroy. No, he's got the Energizer and the Untouchable, so he's just fine. Bot, they do finally take the tier 1 tower. Took them long enough, 27 minutes. but they were pushing the lane, so it's not like their push game was bad, it was just that they didn't really focus that lane. And now they're going to remedy that situation. It looks like they might actually take tier 3 here, and there's nothing the Hellborn can really do about this. Dr. Pulsar still has a token for about a minute.
Legion tower.
So he's going to have to get it pretty aggressive here if he wants to go at it. And Marcus won. Also getting aggressive. I wouldn't mind if Doctor just sat and tanked the tower and killed it. Because I think it would break his token, but it's only got 30 seconds left, so he's going to be particularly careful about how he plays this. We'll take a fair bit of damage there from Syl. And the rocket. 25 seconds. Hook back onto Ophelia, actually, and she's going to be in some trouble. Wall immediately going to kill her, but a nice 3-man mummy wall. Nice ultimate for Rhapsody, stopping all sorts of damage. Kraken, they will finally eat the token. Had to be had no more than about 10 seconds. Empath now inside of Drunken Master will get away. Looks like Kraken will be in some trouble. Norse Blessing helping out a little bit. Drogon in the background dying as Silhouette is dishing out a ton of damage and ports out to her illusion. So, nice pick-off there by Marcus Moy, and they in fact get basically nothing out of that. They lose Drogon, they use a bunch of ultimates on the Legion team, but that's what they're there for. And the Hellborn will be forced to retreat. So, very, very good hold from Catman Champions. As they're down pretty significantly in both gold and experience, but breaking high ground obviously not the easiest thing to do. And I'm not sure that the Hellborn played that as well as they really could have. They kind of grouped up for that mummy walls into the release of Kraken, and the token is the only thing that got taken really out of that, but it was a bunch of damage on top of it, and if it wasn't for Rhapsody, then they basically would have been destroyed. So, speaking of this, the supports are killing triple stacked ancients. I guess that's where we're at this point. And Rocket is not going to spot them after the reaction. The Pharaoh will see them, and then Empath can be in a lot of trouble here. She will die quite easily. And now the triple stacked ancient can be stolen by the Legion team, I assume. Master of Arms does have the goo, so might as well throw it down. And they got nice and low. Hellborn supports being very, very courteous. Said, we'll get these guys down to a very small amount of health for you, and you can come in and kill our Empath and finish him off. Sounds like a good plan. Anyway, Shrunken Head is going to be the choice on Kraken, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like he needs Soul's Bulwark a lot more than he needs Shrunken Head. The Hellborn team, not a ton of magical damage, and the Gauntlet Blast, of course, will still go through the ult Shrunken. The Drunken Master doesn't care about it. Dr. Pulsar, that's going to stop him a fair bit, but I don't feel like it's going to be a huge, huge deal. Top lane, meanwhile, Doctor actually managing to finish off that tier 3 tower. Master Room's ulting on the Silhouette, but she's not going to be able to catch Doctor because Doctor has ludicrous speed. So the name of his ability is an accurate description of how fast he is. Did I miss a kill? Was that 14 to 16? Oh, that was the Empath kill, right. Pingu still in some jungle farm from the Legion, and he's up to 370 gold per minute now, so has surpassed Gauntlet in the GPM chart. Always nice. Just stealing stuff from Empath because he wants to be a dick. So, as the items go right now, Hellborn have a push book and a Lexelios on the Empaths. Obviously 2 push books there, very, very important for both Kraken and Pharaoh. And generally useful, of course. So not a bad item in the end. And looks like Doctor has finished up Hellflower on top of his Grimoire and Nullstone. Don't mind that pickup at all. Will stop the Silhouette, especially if they use the opposite charges on him to break the Nullstone. Drunken Master's picked up a Demonic Breastplate, so gonna have some D-armor for his opponents and some positive armor for himself, realizing, yeah, I don't really need a Shrunken Head this game. It doesn't make a ton of sense, especially with my Untouchable is gonna stop a lot of the spells anyway. So, choosing to go for the more physical damage route and the more physical healing route, which again, I think is the path. Legion side's damage is much, much more physical than it is magical, so Silhouette and Kraken being huge or significant outputs of that damage. Rhapsody being the hard support here, basically sitting on nothing but Striders and power supply, so such is the life of a hard support even in a game that you're winning. So what happens? It's too bad. Legion side, Hellflower has been finished up by Pharaoh. Not a huge surprise. He's been working on it for a long time, and he definitely should have it by now, 300 GPM, so not bad farm. It's an expensive item. And Wrath of Pharaoh will catch Rhapsody out, and she's basically dead. Nothing she can do about that, really. as the rocket just sniped her. Wrath of Pharaoh had enough range. Still going for Shield Breaker. So perhaps seeing the Demonic Breastplate on Drunken Master, perhaps not. Either way, I feel like that just enhances the value of Drunken's Breastplate, because it's basically going to counter the Shield Breaker for anybody that's in range. And what's that? -5 armor? Yep. So Demonic does +5 armor, Shield Breaker does -5 armor, so cancels. The natural armor, of course, provides the Drunken even higher than that. Anyway, middle lane, as Doctor will catch out Ophelia. So let's just watch that from the beginning. And yep, jumped in, Hellflower, you dead.
Quite right.
And, I mean, there's basically nothing she can do about that. She does have a couple of Skeleton Kings, so can lock him down a little bit, but not nearly long enough, the Hellflower on her, to start popping heals and get her team in there. Second Drunken, looks like it's going to be the choice on Pharaoh, but I really don't get it. I don't like it. I feel like Puzzle Box would absolutely be the superior option. Instead, he wants to go more defensive. And you look at the Legion team, where's their damage? Cell's got a lot thanks to the Shield Breaker, but again, that's going to be pretty heavily countered by the Demonic Breastplate. And actually, the Wrath of Pharaoh in onto the Doctor, but again, he just leaves. So, it's a nice idea trying to catch him out, but his Doctor, it's a bit of a problem. And Gauntlet Hook, weirdly angled there, doesn't do anything. Ophelia, looks like she's working on another push book, I would assume. They don't have one on the Legion team, so I'd assume that's what she's going to be going for with the Neophytes book. I think I would have preferred the Abyssal Skull. And some additional damage output in terms of right clicks, as well as the lifesteal, of course, for both Pharaoh and Kraken. Armor Aura is nice to counteract the Demonic Breastplate. And Mana Aura, Regen Aura, all sorts of good stuff. And that'd be even enhance the value of a Puzzle Box if they had a Puzzle Box. They don't have a Puzzle Box. Master of Arms of this whole sport just has Vestments, Striders, basically, so sucks to be him. Wrath of Pharaoh not going to connect on anything. Nullstone will be eaten by the Torrent from Kraken. And now, Dr. Pulsar feeling like he can do some stuff. Empath can jump inside of Dr. Pulsar here, and then right off the bat they will kill both Link 06 and Master of Arms. Ro8 playing that hero. In the background, Rhapsody stopping a bunch of damage, as the Kraken ultimate basically does nothing. Silhouette looking for some damage over here, but in fact, it will be time to die on the Parasite, not Parasite. Pharaoh. That falls. Silhouette Illusion gonna die. Actually, still gonna port into it. And gonna try to get a little bit aggressive here, but that might not be the greatest plan in the entire world. She does still have a Nullstone up, so she should be okay. And will she be able to get the kill on Rhapsody? Yes, she will. And now she's gonna be in some trouble. I don't think she has enough mana to port back to her illusion, so that might have been a very bad decision. Yeah, that wasn't great. She used the Death Lotus to snipe out the Rhapsody with the extra auto attack damage, and then didn't have enough mana to port back to her illusion, so not great. Meantime, Gauntlet gonna go to try to solo Kongor. That's not gonna work very well, but the rest of his team is doing the smart thing. Let's kill the middle tower, see if we can break base, and if we can't, which they probably can't, although nobody's got buyback on the Legion team, so they could keep going here actually. See if they choose to. Master Arm's going to slow down the push a little bit, but again, the damage coming into this tier 3 tower is pretty hefty, and at this point they probably realize that there's no buyback available on Marcus Moy, otherwise they would have used it already. Wrath of Pharaoh going to jump in here onto Drunken Master. He's going to get wrecked right off the bat, and now Doctor's jumping around everywhere, trying to live. Empath, he's trying to get close enough for Empath to jump inside. Yep, there we go. Pushbook out of the walls, and Empath will be fine, as Kurt Svensson picks up the kill onto Kraken as well. So ends up being a 1-for-1, and wouldn't be surprised if the next focus is Kongor, as Rhapsody is back up alive, and they don't really need Drunken Master to be able to take Kong. They just need the Gauntlet Enfeeble and some damage from Doctor. So I'd like to see the Kongor attempt come out next, get a token up, and try to break some racks. He has also picked up the Frostfield Plate, so the Legion team with their Shield Breaker on Silhouette, it's not going to be particularly effective considering all the armor that's being built up by the Hellborn side. And so perhaps going to find herself not dealing quite as much damage as she would like to, or maybe even needs to. Top lane, Pharaoh's sort of looking for something in the Hellborn Woods, but not going to find anything, and I'm not sure what he's looking for. Marcus Moy is here on the Silhouette, so I guess that's what he's looking for. Seeing if the two of them can catch somebody out. Obviously, prefer to use Kraken for this, but Kraken is dead and just respawn Or maybe this is purely Silhouette is concerned about how safe she is when she's farming, so wants Pharaoh to be nearby just in case something bad happens. And with the Hellflower Magnetic Contraption, they can lock Syl down for long enough to kill her, so Pharaoh Rocket will snipe Kongor. They realize that's going on, but there's nothing they can do to stop it at this point because they're not in position. Marcus Moy instead going to trade for the top tier 2 tower. And we'll pour it out right before Drunken Master comes in. Kongor goes down, no huge surprise token on Dr. Repulsor. And they could look to turn this into an immediate push, which it looks like is what's going to happen. They didn't use a lot of health or mana or abilities to kill the Kong, and so they could fight right now if they want to. And it kind of looks like they want to. Pingu perhaps not quite on the same page. He is farming his own woods. Trying to get something, I guess. He's got 2,500 gold saved up, so he's about 400 off of the Shrunken Head, so that might be their decision, is let's wait until we get the Shrunken, and then we can start pushing the push base. Dr. Repulsor obviously flying in there, trying to do something, and won't actually get anything out of it, but 38 minutes of the game, got about an 18.5k gold lead, 20.5k experience lead, and obviously the guys on ChatroulleteboyZ feeling pretty good about where they are in this game. Dr. Repulsor at 660 gold per minute. It's not bad. It's okay.
Watch your eyes.
And jump here onto Dr. Repulsor. Obviously has the token, so not going to be the biggest deal. If he dies, he will in fact fall off to the side here. Meanwhile, they manage to catch out Pharaoh before he can do too much of anything, and he will immediately buy back. So he's got the Wrath of the Pharaoh, the Lemon Walls, the Hellfire, and the Rocket's still up. We'll see if he can catch anybody out. Meantime, looks like they will be able to finish off Ophelia off the side here. Kraken taking much damage from Drunken Master. He's going to die, relying Breastplate and Shrunken Head, helping a ton, and time to die back. There goes Master of Arms as well. They will be able to get the Immortal onto Doctor, excuse me, Drunken Doctor, whatever. At this point, they're well diving, and they're pushing people in and out of there with the push brooks. Buyback, obviously, on Ophelia. She's going to die once again. Hat trick from Dr. Repulsor. And kind of makes you think maybe she should have gone the Icon, but CC vote getting thrown out here, and that makes a ton of sense here. Marcus Moy will finish off Rhapsody, but that's going to end the game. And it will go to guys on ChatroulleteboyZ. That's not what I'm looking at all. So we'll see if we can find the game ID. So sorry, I don't want to show you results from other games. But anyway, that's the post-game score screen, and the guys on CZ doing quite well. So we'll see what they can bring in Game 2. If it's anything close to what they brought in Game 1, I think that you might be a little bit afraid if the guys on Catman Champions. Ultimately, they won the laning phase, they didn't throw the mid game, and then they took that advantage, and they managed to beat their opponents. It's just a nice, well-executed, clean game from a team that knows what they're doing. Obviously, a bunch of players here who have been all around. They've been around for a long time. They've been in Diamond before. Most of them, I don't know if Kurt Svensson has, but Wop Dash was, which means that Drogon, Pingu, and Forgotten One were all there. Archie Tiger was in Diamond as a part of Twisted Fusion, so, and he's been around for a really long time as well. So makes plenty of sense, and that'll do it here. We will, for